Hey everyone, Dockwell here, and today we're going to be looking at the Best Nature's Prophet build for patch 7.38c. Now, before we start off, we're going to be picking the Ironwood Treant facet. This thing is absolutely insane. This one Treant that you make is infinitely tanky, does a billion damage to towers, and then at level 25, we will see, obviously, this 3 times Treant HP and damage just means that once you get to this stage, which this hero gets a lot of experience, you get level 25 pretty quickly, and you're probably playing carry anyway. Once you get there, the split push is absurd. You like 3-shot range racks. It's absolutely ridiculous. You're going to be picking this every single time. They're probably going to nerf it. Even though they already nerfed it once, they'll probably nerf it again because it's just that good. Then for starting items, we're going to go for Magic Wand and 3 branches. And honestly, this is a starting item build that you can go for pretty much any hero these days, like any carry hero. It's really just the standard. Everybody seems to be going for Magic Wand first, like minute 0. At the very least, you get a stick these days so that maybe you can get some other smaller items, but still, you know, this is perfectly fine. And then we just start with a Tango as our first purchase, usually from the runes. But you do have some other options, and I have in situational here Orb of Corrosion and Null Talisman, because you can actually start with Orb of Blight, or you can even start with the Circlet if you want to, for whatever reason, get Null Talisman or get Orb of Corrosion. These are options, so if you're going to build into one of them, you can start with an item that builds into that, but it's not necessary. You can go with this as your starting item, buying Tangos first, and that's good pretty much every single game, but you can have these as a consideration. Basically, Null Talisman for the mana regen and those kinds of things, and this for extra harass damage. If you really feel like you can dominate the lane and put pressure on the tower and those kinds of things, and you can get away with right-clicking because you're against 2 melees or something, you can go Orb of Corrosion, or if you just want that mana regen because you think you're going to be spamming your tree and spamming your spells. But otherwise, you can totally just go for this because we definitely want to get treads very quickly. This just helps us not only harass and walk in the lane, just do attack damage and have more attack speed, but we really just want to be getting our Maelstrom as quickly as possible. That's why it's like I don't have it as a default to get Orb of Corrosion or Null Talisman, because these delay your treads, and then really they delay your Maelstrom, which is the most important thing, because this is the farming item for the hero, obviously. And then once you get this, it really ramps up your farm a lot. So that's why getting this as a super early timing is very, very good. You can have these for some sustain, for some harass, but it's pretty much a default to just go with this, and that's going to be fine every game because those early portions aren't as important. Like stomping the lane is fine, but really you want to get your farm because this hero really starts hitting his stride once he gets into having a few items and just teleporting around the map, split pushing, those kinds of things. Then from there, the core items are relatively simple and straightforward. You're going to go for Mjolnir every single game. You're going to finish this first. You could potentially go for one of the aspects of Hurricane Pike, like Force Staff, Dragonlance. You could maybe go for that before finishing the Mjolnir, but it's just so good. The extra attack speed, everything you get from this, it's always good to just upgrade it first, just immediately, right from Maelstrom. You're never really going to go wrong with that, but if there's like a Ricky or some other thing that's really annoying, you can go for this. If you feel like you need the range, you can go for this because, you know, you just need extra range in the fights for whatever reason. That's possible, but regardless, you're going to have Mjolnir, you're going to have Hurricane Pike. These are the first 2 items you're going to build every single game, and then most likely, you want to get BKB at this point. You could go for another small item, something that is going to build into one of these items, like if you're going to get Revenant's Brooch or Daedalus, you can get Chrysalis before BKB, but for the most part, you're going to get BKB at some point, so getting it right now is perfectly fine. So you're going to have these 3 items in your inventory pretty much every game regardless, and getting them in this order is not wrong. You can just deviate a little bit, but just going straight Maelstrom, Mjolnir, Hurricane Pike, and then BKB is perfectly fine. And then in terms of late game items, people are really preferring Revenant's Brooch right now instead of Daedalus, but you can go either one. This is obviously a little bit better because it's cheaper and it's very effective damage, but if you want to go like Ultra Giga most damage late game, you can definitely go Daedalus. You can even replace this later with a Daedalus. The problem with this is it's a 3,300 gold item that once you get 6 slotted, like full 6 slotted selling boots, this thing's less efficient, so you probably are going to replace it, but having it at this timing where you get these items and then go right into this, you do insane amounts of damage. Then from there, Satanic, Butterfly, and AC. These are basically the 3 items that you're going to get, and you might have to only pick 2 of them. You know, maybe there's not a lot of right clickers on the enemy team, so you don't go Butterfly. Maybe they have an AA on the enemy team because AA is a super popular support right now. Satanic is really not the best in those situations. Yes, it might be hard to hit you with the Ice Blast, but if you do get hit, which, you know, these days AA is getting pretty good. You know, people understand how to play the hero. They understand if you have Satanic, they need to hit you with it because having Satanic on this hero is really good. So you can just opt to not buy it at all and just go for these two items. AC, same kind of thing. Maybe you don't really feel like you need the armor, you don't really need the attack speed. You'd rather have Butterfly, you'd rather have Satanic. It's just more of what is the game calling for? What are the considerations in this specific game? But these three items are pretty much the ones that you're going to go ultra late game. You're probably going to get Revenant's Brooch or Daedalus, one of these two, regardless, as your next big item, and then these are rounding it out. It's just that I have more items here than what you can actually fit in your inventory. Like if you see, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you basically have 7. So you could potentially get these three and then not have the Revenant's Brooch or the Daedalus, but most likely you want one kind of critical hit because you are attacking so much. So that's why it's like there's 7-ish items here. So you have to pick one to not actually have in your inventory in the ultra late game. Then lastly, for situational items I already talked about, Orb of Corrosion and Null Talisman, we don't really need to go over those. You can get the shard at some point. Maybe you get it for free. Maybe you can just buy it like at some point where you have a little bit of gold, but you're not even close to the next item. You just want something for a high ground push or a high ground defense. You can totally get this. Or, you know, super ultra late when you have all your items, you're going to get this probably at some point. It's just not the best shard in the world, but it's fine to have it. You know, it's good to have that upgrade. Again, we talked about Daedalus. You can totally have this instead of Revenant's Brooch or even replace Revenant's Brooch later with the Daedalus. You can go Scotty if you, for whatever reason, need to go anti-regen on the specific hero. You can go Silver Edge if there's a lot of heroes or at least one main hero that you need to break. Nullifier if people are building a lot of defensive items and you feel like your main job in the fight is to kill supports and you really need this. MKB, obviously, if there's like a PA or a Wind Ranger, or if there's a hero that likes to buy Butterfly, like an enemy carry like Morphling or something like that. Then we have Orchid and Bloodthorn. You could potentially have this as like an ultra late game item up here that is bought a lot. The difference is you don't really love to buy Orchid early because you really want these items, and then 3,300 gold for Revenant's Brooch is just way better than just the Orchid. Now, obviously, Bloodthorn is 6,600 gold. This is an amazing damage item, but once you get these three, you'd rather just go back for this really quickly, really cheaply, than have to complete this entire thing. It doesn't really give you a lot of the things that you really want or need, like the mana regen. You don't necessarily need any of that. It's only 10 damage. The attack speed, you already have a ton of attack speed from this. You already get a lot of attack speed from the hero in general. So it's just one of those things that even though it's a great item, don't get me wrong, you could buy this like almost every game and it could work. You just probably do better with some of these other items that give you something else. More stats, more regen, more tankability, just something else. And honestly, chances are these days someone else is building Orchid and Bloodthorn in general. Then the final situational items, we have Ag Scepter. You can get this ultra late game. It's just not part of the core hero build. As a carry, you'd rather spend your gold on something else that allows you to right click. This is good like, 60 minutes in the game when you have nothing else to buy, you have no other slots, but we're not going to really get it until then, but it is still obviously an option eventually. Then Deso, just not really as good as AC, especially since you want to get these items early. You'd just rather go for the AC. It's just better overall, but it is still a possibility. Maybe if you're split pushing, doing like some ultra rat build, you could totally go Desolator even later to just incorporate it with AC and with your Ironwood Treant to just be super annoying. Scythe of Ice, if you need some lockdown, you can totally go this. It's good on the hero, but you'd rather just click them to death. Honestly, you'd rather even maybe just go Nullifier than actually have this if there's any kind of like reason that you feel like you can't click people. But sometimes in specific situations, you just need that extra lockdown if your team doesn't have it. Then Moonshard, extra attack speed. You already get a ton of attack speed from the items you buy, but you could totally go this as an ultra late game item like Agnum Scepter. And then Divine Rapier if you really need it, because you are a right clicker. This is an option ultra late game. It's just very risky, obviously, and you're replacing one item that you really probably need and like. Then in terms of skill build, this is pretty straightforward. We're going to be going for Nature's Call level 1 every single game, not just because we can scout runes and everything, but just because level 1, this thing is so annoying. You just send it at the enemy off lane or the enemy support, and they just like can't do anything about it. It just clicks them infinitely. They can't kill it level 1. They can't even kill it, honestly, like level 5, level 6, level 10. Like, it doesn't matter. This thing just doesn't die to hero right clicks. The only thing you have to be wary of is if you send it under the tower shots do kill it pretty quickly, but it's very, very good good. You're going to get this level 1. Then Sprout level 2, because you don't really need TP at this point yet. Having this for that extra damage, that extra lockdown, even to save yourself a little bit, will be good at level 2. Then we're going to be maxing out Nature's Call. So level 3, we're getting Nature's Call. And then level 4, we'll get our TP, because at this point, maybe you want to TP back to base for some regen. Maybe you even want to just TP to a side lane real quick, use your Nature's Call treant to just like push with a catapult or something, maybe even mid. Like, it's a possibility, but we're probably not going to be using it. But having it level 4 is good just to have 1 point. Then we're going to be maxing out Nature's Call, getting 6 with Wrath of Nature every single time. And then after maxing out Nature's Call, we're going to max out TP, just because Sprout like doesn't really do much. Like, the damage is kind of just whatever. You don't really care about that. You want to have your TP off cooldown much sooner as you get into that mid portion to late portion of the game. It amps up your farm and obviously allows you to participate in ganks and team fights a lot easier as well. Then lastly, we're maxing out Sprout. We do want to max this out eventually. It does give us damage. It's not like we're just leaving it at level 1, but it isn't something that we want to get super early. And then obviously Wrath of Nature whenever we can. Then lastly, we have the talents here. We're going to be going for Nature's Call cooldown. That's just really good for being able to spam more treants, obviously. Then we have treant movement speed. Look, we're focusing on the treant because it's kind of insane. Plus the Wrath of Nature base damage and the teleportation barrier. These things are just, they're not very good. Then we have minus 15-second Wrath of Nature cooldown. Sprout damage, again, we're not maxing it early anyway. Obviously, level 20, you probably have it maxed still, but like, it's just the worst skill that this hero has. So that 170 damage is just not that great. And then level 25, 3x treant HP and damage is absolutely absurd. With the Ironwood treant, you can potentially, I think this is the one talent you could potentially go for removed teleportation cooldown, but 20 seconds, honestly, at max level is not that big of a deal anyway. Like, I don't think you're going to be using it so much more. You'd rather just have this, because honestly, the whole point of removing the cooldown is so that you can TP in, use this, and then kind of flee very quickly. But obviously, amping this up, you could just TP in, use this, and then use your TP scroll anyway. So it doesn't really do very much to have this. Like, it is good, don't get me wrong. Like, it does have situations where you TP in, use it, you TP somewhere else, you farm here and there and all over the place. But this is just so much more annoying these days because of the Ironwood treant. Like, it makes it absolutely absurd. So that's why we're going to be going this pretty much every time. And maybe if they nerf it in the future, you'd want to be going for the remove teleportation cooldown. But right now, the treant is just broken. And that, everyone, is the Carry Nature's Prophet build for patch 7.38c. As always, guys, if you liked the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.